Today is kind of a special day because I'm A, talking about a Finnish series, and B, it's available in English. Hola! This is gonna be another insane one, and it's called Shokuryou Jinrui, or Starving Anonymous. It is written by Shokuryou and illustrated by Inabe Kazu. The manga was published from 2014 until 2018, and it has 7 volumes. I bought this on a whim, by the way, when I saw it being sold for super cheap on eBay, used. But then I got hit with import fees, so... Well, never buy from eBay. It's much better and cheaper to just buy it new. Like, everyone on eBay, they just rip you off. Just don't do it. Anyway, let's talk about the plot of Shokuryou Jinrui. Our protagonist, a high school boy called Ie, is just chilling in a fast food joint with his friend Kazu. They talk about what gross stuff is inside chicken nuggets and other everyday stuff. When they leave, they complain about it being too hot outside, even though it's only March. They see politicians talking about global warming and that we all need to do something together about it, and so on. They take the bus and talk about their future. Ie wants to become an artist, Kazu a scientist. It is, by all accounts, a normal day. Ie keeps talking when he notices that Kazu stopped responding. He looks over to him, but Kazu is unconscious. After looking around for a bit, he notices that everybody on the bus seems to just have passed out like Kazu. Alarmed, Ie goes up to the driver, but when he takes off his mask, he passes out himself. When he wakes up again, he finds himself on top of a bunch of people on a truck. He gets up and looks around, and he sees naked people on the floor, all of them overweight. Then, a guy in a hazard suit throws him downstairs into some sort of bunker. There, he's surrounded by more naked and overweight people, and they're all drinking something out of tubes. Ie is of course completely shocked and wants to leave immediately when he notices that Kazu is among these people. Kazu has gained a lot of weight, and instead of being shocked himself, he just offers this juice-like liquid to Ie and telling him that it's super delicious. And just as he's about to try it himself, Ie gets attacked from behind by a boy who orders him not to drink it. Another boy chimes in and tells the other one to let go of Ie. He introduces himself as Yamabiki and the other one as Natsune. Ie asks the two if they know what this place is, and Yamabiki says that it's a fattening unit for people. And this is all I want to say about the premise because I don't want to spoil anything more, although I'd really love to. Anyways, I think it goes without saying that the 3 of them, with Kazu, are trying to escape from this facility. They will not only discover what it does and why it exists, but also what it has to do with climate change. So, I said before that this is another insane one, and if it wasn't clear what Yamabiki meant, they're getting fed this liquid that you can't stop drinking that controls your thoughts and makes you gain weight rapidly. I won't tell you why that happens, but I will say it was not what I expected at all. I'm still not sure whether I like this development or not. At first, I found the plot really interesting, but it got a little too ridiculous for me. The horror that was established at first just kind of got lost along the way. There are many brutal scenes and a ton of gore, and that was really effective at first. But as the story progresses and we find out more about the facility and the characters, it just got kind of weird, and the atmosphere changed a little, which I personally didn't think was great. Especially one scene between Yamabiki and Natsune towards the end was just funny. And I know that to a certain degree it must have been intended this way, but still, it felt just, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the stories that I've been talking about are meant to be horrifying, but just end up making me laugh. Some scenes were genuinely terrifying though, especially the one with the plane. There's also gonna be a lot of science that doesn't seem very good. Now, I'm not a scientist, so I can look past it, but if you know anything at all about the subject matter, then you might be scratching your head from time to time. Anyways, since I don't want to spoil anything, let me just say this. The basic idea of the manga is really interesting, but I think that the execution could have been way better. The main threat sounded so Scandinavian. The main threat in this manga is a truly disturbing idea. But the way it was handled, together with the backstories of the characters, it was a lot to deal with. And for that, the manga is rather short, I feel. It's all gas, no breaks, which I usually don't mind. But in this story, I think I would have liked a little more time to deal with everything properly, you know? I don't mind that the manga jumps right into the story, but I feel like they took their time to establish the mystery and then just rushed the rest. Like, oh yeah, this happened while you weren't watching, or here. Or characters conveniently having items on them that end up being necessary to their survival. And they're not items that everybody has just laying around their house, you know? It's just so that the story can move on. The very end of the story also seems a little too... I'm not sure if I felt it was rushed, but it just didn't feel very satisfying to me. But that could just be me. I'd also like to say a few things about the characters, so let's start with Ie. He's a good guy, but other than his photographic memory, he has no useful skill. Each time something happens, he just stands there and screams like some woman in an old horror movie who just watches the murderer approach and doesn't do anything and just stands there and screams. Kazu doesn't play a big role in this story. He's reduced to being kind of an idiot and is just there to be saved and to show that Ie has a friend. Natsune and Yamabiki are more interesting. Natsune is mysterious and has a dark past, while Yamabiki is a hypersexual nerd who'll sleep with anyone but also knows everything. And since Yamabiki is the nerd of the group, he knows or accurately guesses what's going on. But he's a little too OP towards the end for me. And even in a fictional story with its own rules, it's too unrealistic. And this could be a whole video topic, you know. A lot of times people just defend things and say, oh, it's fantasy, how is it supposed to be realistic, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, if you establish a world, there are still rules within that world. For example, if you say in a world where, let's say there are dragons, right? And you can only kill them with ice. That's stupid. Okay, let's say there are dragons. You can only kill them with napalm. But then somebody jumps in and he just shoots the dragon and the dragon dies. Do you know what I mean? That's not realistic inside this fictional fantasy world, you know? And that's what I just really hate when stuff like this happens. With realistic, I don't mean it could happen in real life as it is in the story. I mean it's logical and it makes sense. Decisions have to make sense, rules have to be established and followed. And if you break the rules, we have to understand why that's possible, why a character did that, so on, so on. Anyways, that's not what we're talking about here today. So let's talk about the art, which is really good. I love the character design. The gore is also very good. The style is rather beautiful, which is nice when contrasted with the gory elements. However, such a beautiful design can sometimes take away a little bit from the horror, if you know what I mean. I'm not complaining though. There are, however, two things that irritated me about the art. First, the hair. I don't know what went wrong, but it looks like wigs. The hairline is... oh my god. How can that be the only thing the artist could manage when everything else looks so good? I mean, look at this. The second thing is the characters topless. I know not having nipples is kind of a thing in manga, but damn, it looks weird. I wish I could go more into detail, but I think I'm gonna end it here. And don't get me wrong, I personally still really enjoyed this manga. It's just, you know, up there with Jujutsu no Kyojin. I mean, maybe it's slightly better than Jujutsu. I don't know. But it's one of those, you know, you just have to abandon logic and reason and just sit back and enjoy. Don't think about it too much. Don't try to make sense of anything. It's fine. You know, it's one of those stories where I don't think that they're very good, but they're just enjoyable and entertaining. So I do hope you check it out. And you know, maybe your opinion will be different than mine. And if it is, please let me know. But that is it for this week. I hope everybody has a great day, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.